Hi there! This is the final video in a three-part series for doing heater maintenance on our Espar D2 diesel heater in our camper van. We've had some issues with this heater where it belches out white smoke when it's trying to start up occasionally. The first video we did, you can see right here, this was replacing the fuel filter in the heater's fuel pump. And that worked for a short time, but it became apparent that that wasn't the entire cause of the problem. So we moved on to a bigger step. You can see that in our second video right here. In that video, we replaced the atomizer screen and the igniter inside the heater itself. And this helped much more than the first video, but it's still, the problem kind of comes back from time to time. So I think we got to do that again and really get in there and clean the carbon out better than we did. So in this video, we are going to install a high altitude kit. Basically, when you go up at higher elevations, the air gets thinner and your fuel mixture will be very rich, which means too much fuel compared to the amount of oxygen. This high altitude kit will adjust that fuel mixture and give it a leaner mix so that it will burn completely. We believe this is the reason we've had this problem all along, because last winter we went up to the Rocky Mountains. We were up above 7,500 feet, and at that altitude it just soots up the inside of your heater. So if we would have known about this 3 years ago, we would have installed this right when we first installed the heater itself, and we might not even ever had to do videos 1 and 2 in this series. But here we are. So this is a real easy install though. We're going to take this panel off. This right here is our thermostat, and it has a plug behind there similar to these plugs, and it plugs into the wire that goes all the way to the heater itself. Basically, we're going to unplug that and we're going to plug this in between, so it'll go from the heater into this unit and out of here to the thermostat. So we'll take this panel off and get started on that. Okay, so behind here we have the wire right here that comes from the thermostat, and it goes to this wire, and this one goes back through the wall and down all the way to the heater. So I replaced these plugs because when you get this high altitude kit and you take it out of the box, one of the plugs is already installed, and it's the black plugs like you see in this picture right here. Because we had put this together with the black plugs almost 3 years ago now, and at that time we did not know it was going to have to line up with the plugs on a high altitude kit 3 years later, we just didn't happen to put the wires in the correct holes to line up with the high altitude kit. Let me see if I can explain that a little better. When we bought the heater 3 years ago and installed it, it came out of the box without those black plugs attached to the wires. And the reason for that is it's much easier to drill a small hole to put that wire through, and then once the wire is through where you want it, then you can take that black plug, the plastic thing, and you can put those little metal pins on the end of the wires into the holes on the black plug. And the same with the thermostat. You drill a small hole through this panel here, put the wire through, and then put the pins on the end of that wire into that black plug. And all we had to do 3 years ago was make sure red went to red, brown went to brown, and blue white to blue white. And we put those together, and boom, we've had a thermostat that operates our heater for the last 3 years. Fast forward to this year when we're putting the high altitude kit on, well, it came with one of those black plugs actually installed on the wire. It did not line up with the way we had lined them up 3 years ago. So that's what that was all about. So if they had not installed that plug on the high altitude kit, we would have just put all the wires in the right holes and this could just plug right in. But it didn't work out that way. We couldn't get the wires out of those black plugs. So I just cut them off and bought some new. These are just generic plugs I picked up at the electronics store in town. But basically now, I'm just going to put a pick in here and separate this plug. Oh, I'm doing the wrong side. There it is. Put this plug in here and wiggle this thing apart, and that comes apart. And now, I did all this before we started shooting video, so I know these are on the correct ones. Now, this piece goes on here, and because we did it correctly, you can see that red goes to red, brown goes to brown, and blue-white goes to blue-white. And now, when we plug this one in, what we want to see is this guy light up and start to initialize. Just like that. That's a good sign. That means it's initializing. And there we are. We are up and running. Okay, so you may also notice there's a couple wires that aren't being used. This is because we are using what's called the Easy Start Select thermostat, and our heater has wires coming off it, and so does the high altitude kit has wires for different thermostats as well. But with this one, it's a very simple thermostat. We don't need all those wires. So I'm just going to tape these off, and then we'll install this behind the wall. Alright, so I have taped these off with electrical tape just to make it look a little cleaner, I guess. And now I'm just going to install this on the back side of this panel, and the way I'm going to do that is with some command strips. So I'll take 2 of these and just stick them right on the back here. Peel off the backing. And I'm going to reach behind here and stick this inside. Just like that. Okay. Now, this is not supposed to be mounted in an airtight space, so originally I was thinking I would drill a hole in our panel, but instead I've just got a few washers here. I think this will be much easier and it'll look better too. I'm just going to stack some washers right over here on the back side of this screw. Like that. So I've got the washers right there. And then just put the screw in. And it gives just a nice little gap right here, which we don't even see because it's on the back side of this. And now that is not an airtight space. And I'll put all of the screws back in. And turn it back on. And voila! We have a high altitude kit installed. So this thing costs about $250 to $300 depending on where you get it. Like I said, we'll put a link to it in the description below. But basically that's it. Unplug your thermostat, plug this thing in between, and you're ready to rock. So, if this video was helpful, please give us a thumbs up. That would sure help us out. And subscribe as well, because we like to do videos like this, and you'll see them if you subscribe. And if you hit that little bell, you'll be notified when we put up a new video as well. So be sure and do that. Till next time, thanks so much. Bye.